Hello you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos. And cool, the Manchester United versus Young Boys game tonight. Kick-off is about just under half an hour away, and the team news has currently been confirmed, so I'm going to go through the team with you. It is a 4-3-3 formation that Jose Mourinho has gone along with, and we know basically that Lindelof's out. Jose Mourinho doesn't know an exact date then he's going to return because he suffered an injury during Crystal Palace at the weekend. Darmian potentially not in the squad as well. Potentially he missed training, and also to so it's Lindelof, Darmian, and Doyle, who's currently suffered a knock injury as well. Currently Sanchez is not included in the squad. Ashley Young is not in the squad either. So he has gone with a 4-3-3 formation. He's put De Gea in there. He's put Valencia at right back. This is his first game in an absolute long time, Antonio Valencia. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs at right back position. I thought potentially he would have been putting Ashley Young there because obviously Mourinho mainly plays Ashley Young as a potential right. Centre back partnership has gone with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones. I thought he may have put Bailly there. He can't get into the starting 11 at the moment, but he's particularly on the bench is Bailey. Luke Shaw's currently left back. As I said, he had that suspension during the weekend, so he missed the weekend. Did Luke Shaw, and he's gone with a midfield three of Matic and Fred as Jose Mourinho. It's good to see, Fred get a chance. He started Fred in this game tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs. Paid £50 million for him, so we want to see him get game time. Matic is in the mid. Marian Fellaini is in the middle. Thought I had a good game against Manchester City. And on the left, Anthony Martial, where he operates very, very well. Rashford in the centre and Jesse Lingard on the right. And the bench, Matters on the bench. Sanchez hasn't come. Sanchez isn't starting. Bailey's on the bench. Andres Pereira's also on the bench as well. Lukaku's on the bench, so he hasn't started. Lukaku, Jose Mourinho. So yeah, that is the potential squad tonight that Jose Mourinho as announced. But going into the game, we win tonight. We're in the knockout stages. The last 16 of the Champions League for February. We win tonight, and then it depends what Valencia do against Juventus. If Valencia fail to beat Juventus, then Man United have qualified for the knockout stages, and potentially I think Man United will win. We won the reverse fixture. Pogba's also on the bench as well, so he hasn't potentially started Pogba. But potentially we won the reverse fixture by 3-0 against Young Boys. As we all know, we want a total different performance tonight. We want a good performance, because Saturday's performance, was absolutely atrocious. And Mourinho's been explaining about, he's frustrated with the players. He said they're ignoring his instructions. Mourinho was he publicly criticised some of the players, and I think he was wrong for doing that. We know he's under so much immense pressure. We know he's going to get tens of millions of pounds suspended in January. He's had discussions with Ed Woodward about this. And we know he's had disputes with quite a few of the top players, and I think a lot of the players are unhappy under Jose Mourinho. But potentially for me, he's not the man I want at the club. Potentially he's got a good pedigree. He has got a fantastic history. Ryan Giggs, as I said, great legend, great ex-legend at Man United. He's back in Jose Mourinho. He believes he can turn it around, considering, the success that Jose Mourinho's achieved. But it's good to see, I'll credit him, for giving Fred the chance tonight. Andres Pereira's on the bench as well, so, it could potentially be Andres Pereira on during the game. He's put Rashford up to Rashford. He's playing Rashford today. He didn't start Rashford against Crystal Palace at the weekend. Jose Mourinho. Potentially Sanchez. He's not. He did say Sanchez. It looks likely he was going to be missing. He wasn't going to be selected for tonight's game. And potentially, it'd be good to see how Valencia performs. This is his first game in an absolute while, because obviously he hasn't been playing. He'd been suffering a mouth injury, as we all know, as Antonio Valencia. It'll be interesting also to see how Jones establishes himself at that centre-back position, because we know mainly it's been Smalling alongside Lindelof, that centre-back partnership most this season. But obviously now Lindelof's currently injured. Someone else has got to, partner up with Smalling in that centre-back position, and he has gone with Phil Jones. We know he's had a lot of injury problems, since he's come to the club. Phil Jones, he's had problems. I think we had the option to extend his contract by a further 12 months. He's coming to the end of his deal. We've had him since 2012, when we got him from Blackburn, was it £17 million, Phil Jones. but it'd be interesting to see how he performs tonight. You know, Matic again, you know, Mourinho's reluctant to drop Nemanja Matic. You know, he refuses to drop Nemanja Matic. You know, a lot of United fans want to see him dropped because obviously he hasn't been to his potential best this season in that midfield. And, you know, you could say, you know, Pogba's obviously not starting in the midfield. It's Matic, Fellaini and Fred, you know. The midfield may look different, you know, it may look more static. You know, the balance of play might be different in the midfield, you know, without Paul Pogba in it. But obviously, Mourinho hasn't started Pogba because obviously Pogba started at the weekend against Palace. His performance was very disappointing. Mourinho taking him off in the game. And hopefully, you know, we can get a positive result tonight, get us into the knockouts for February. But as I said, you know, Rio Ferdinand said Jose Mourinho's comments were wrong. You know, he said, during the weekend, did Jose Mourinho potentially we're lacking heart, we're lacking desire, we haven't got enough intensity, and this is what Mourinho's saying. I think his style of play is not good enough. I think he's changed the whole identity at the club since he's come to the club. Mourinho, he's spent just under £400 million on 11 players. He's sanctioned a lot of players offers Jose Mourinho as well, but potentially I think the standards of the club is too high for him, and I think the board need to react fast when Mourinho out. You know, even if we do go on a good run of form, because either way we have got winnable games up until Christmas. As we all know, they are games that Manchester United basically should be winning. And, you know, potentially we could lose quite a few top players as well. We could potentially lose De Gea. You know, we could potentially lose Paul Pogba. If you've been hearing the rumours, you know, David De Gea could be potentially joining Paris Saint-Germain next summer in a mega deal reportedly worth £60 million. PSG willing to pay £60 million. £300,000 a week. If this deal was to materialise, it would make him the highest paid goalkeeper in world football. David De Gea. Potentially Man United would demand that they wanted in the region of around £75 million for him. I think he feels unsettled now. Does David De Gea, you know, what's going on with the club and what's going on, you know, regarding Jose Mourinho. And he's a player that, you know, wants to elevate to a higher level and compete for major honours. Does David De Gea. We know that Man United have been discussions signing him his contract extension. He's currently not looking good. He's currently refused to sign his contract extension. Mourinho said quite a few weeks ago he wasn't too convinced that De Gea, you know, was going to sign his contract extension. You know, very, very good with Spain with Atletico Madrid, where he's risen up the ranks. You know, he's proven now in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League now 8 years. You know, we got him, was it in 2011, under the Alex Ferguson era, we got David De Gea. You know, was it like £17 million? And he's been absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. As I said, he's won Player of the Year 4 out of 5 seasons. But reportedly PSG could be the favourites to get him next summer. We know George Mendes, currently David De Gea's agent, has been in discussions with Juventus as well about him potentially making a move there, because there has been talks about potentially David De Gea going to Juventus next summer as well. But we do have the option either way to trigger a further year of his contract, so we can potentially cash in on the goalkeeper as well. But as I said, it's not looking like he's going to sign this contract extensions. I think potentially David De Gea will be leaving next summer. And obviously we know PSG are obviously under financial fair play regulations. You know, obviously the amount of money they spent on Mbappe and Neymar. And obviously they had to be forced, you know, to sanction some players off. And David De Gea in the Premier League's made over 2 century appearances, and he's kept about 90 odd clean sheets just in the Premier League. And reportedly, it said it's £60 million, £300,000 a week, a 4-year deal, and over 15 million annual salary as well for David De Gea. And I think he would be interested in going to Paris Saint-Germain. But yeah, we'd have to have replacements up, obviously, for the replacement for the goalkeeper. If you've been hearing in the press lately about potentially Paul Pogba as well, there's been rumours going on about him potentially making a return to Juventus. There's been rumours going on about him potentially maybe going to Inter Milan. Reportedly, he did come out in the press the other week that reportedly Pogba had actually suggested out that he did want to make a return back to Juventus. He reportedly told the Juventus players that he wanted to depart Old Trafford, because we know he had 4 or 5 good years in Juventus. Did Pogba? We know he's had disputes with Jose Mourinho. He hasn't proven himself in English football, as we all know. His performances in Turin, in Italy with Venice were just absolutely phenomenal. He won honours there. He made 179 appearances. His journey's 4 or 5 period with Juventus. Paul Pogba, but reportedly the new Inter Milan director who's just come in, which is called Beppe Marotta. I've updated you on this already, but obviously, not everyone's watched my video, I know. Beppe Marotta is the new Inter Milan director, and these rumours have stemmed that reportedly since he's taken over as the Inter Milan director, he obviously used to be the Juventus director, so he does have a good bond with Paul Pogba as well. Reportedly, Inter Milan are willing to pay a deal worth up to £200 million for Paul Pogba, which would make him the most expensive player in the world. And plus it said 2 players could be potentially involved as part of the deal as well, which is Perisic and Milan Skriniar. Who Manchester United have showed interest in. Man United have obviously, of course, been linked with them. But yeah, as I said, basically Beppe Marotta's looking, Inter Milan as well are looking. Beppe Marotta's looking to hijack Juventus' move for Paul Pogba. So reportedly it did say, obviously, Inter Milan actually sign or buy any players until next summer. They can agree in January, but they can't officially buy any players till next summer because obviously they're under financial fair play regulation. So they're looking to offload some players, according to Beppe Marotta, the new Inter Milan director, to invest some money and avoid financial fair play sanctions. But yeah, as I potentially said, but it said Perisic could be part of the deal, and so too could Milan Skriniar. But Manchester United have been potentially linked with them. With the Ivan Perisic, he's a Manchester United priority target. We were linked to him heavily last summer. We were linked with Ivan Perisic, but obviously Man United never got a deal, never materialised. We had a couple of bids rejected. Man United had been in talks, but obviously Inter Milan were demanding £48 million. Man United were reluctant to pay £48 million for the player. I said he's not world class. Potentially now Inter Milan, it said in the press they were demanding that they won £31 million compared to last time they won £48 million. So they have reduced it by £17 million. Potentially for me, we do need a left winger, who's obviously got more experience. Obviously Sanchez isn't delivering the goods at the club. We have got 2 young ones on the left in Martial and Rashford. Who play on the left. They can play central as well, as you see tonight. Martial's on the left, Rashford's in central striker. But as I said, but Perisic, he's been at Borussia Dortmund in the past. He's been at Wolfsburg and Club Brugge as the player, and he's been a standout player for Inter Milan as Ivan Perisic. But I said he's potentially not world class. He has a good bond with Lucius Spell, and his versatility is good. He's a good 2-footed player. He can play as a second striker. He can play as a winger, and he can play as a winger, a second striker, and an attacking midfielder as well. Perisic. Do you think he'd complement our team fantastically well? Do you think he'd get in the mix very, very well if he was to come to United? But potentially they're demanding £31 million. But potentially with this Pogba rumour that's been stemming about Inter Milan wanting to pay £200 million, it says potentially it's likely, if this is true, that 2 players will be involved of a deal worth £200 million. So it is a players plus cash deal, according to some of the newspaper reports I said. And this basically would, Pogba left in 2012, obviously, because he wasn't potentially getting enough game time under Fergie. And, he had 4 or 5 good years. We got him for £89 million, then hasn't proven himself in English football. Potentially, we would, if we were to go along with this deal, this would be beneficial. We'd make a huge profit on the player. We'd get 2 players also as well. Man United really don't want to get rid of Pogba. But as I said, with an offer like that, it's hard to turn down and ignore that. As I said, in this way, persuade United us to basically get rid of him. So yeah, we will see what happens. But potentially, as it come out in the press the other day about Marco Orphanage, obviously Mourinho's worked with Orphanage in the past during his days with Inter Milan. Reportedly, it came out in the press the other day that Man United are preparing to put £50 million in for the player, because the player confirmed quite a few weeks ago you know, and his representative have confirmed that he wanted to leave West Ham, wanted to play amongst better players and play in Champions League football and obviously elevate to a higher level. He's proven to be a prolific goal scorer. Do you think if he was to come to Manchester United, do you think he'd lead the lines fantastically well? Manchester United have potentially been linked with Marco Orphanage. You know, he's been at West Ham. West Ham paid £20 million for him, so he has been at West Ham since 2017 as the player. You know, West Ham paid £20 million for him. You know, he had 4 good years with Stoke where he scored 26 goals in 145 appearances. You know, he was good during his Werder Bremen days as well. You know, he was a regular in their team. Was there 3 years, I think. You know, Inter Milan didn't really get much of a chance because he suffered an injury during his time at Inter Milan. You know, he was at 20 before that as well. Marco Orphanage, and he's a forward, so do you think he'd lead the lines fantastically well? Do you think he'd do well at a big club, Orphanage? But reportedly, you know, Man United are preparing to put 50 million. Well, we're interested in putting £50 million in for the player. It came out in the press the other day about that as well. But potentially, as I said, we need an attacker. We definitely need a strong central defender. As we're all aware, we all know this anywhere. So yeah, so it's important Manchester United win tonight, should I say. I won't be watching a game, as I said, I ain't got BT. I'm going to try and find a way out to stream it if I can, guys. Try and find a way to stream the game. But I think Manchester United are going to win. It's very, very beneficial we get this Champions League for top 4 this season and Champions League for next season. And it's beneficial we get to the knockout stages in February. And I think Manchester United will do it. We've got this game and then we've in the Champions League. Then we've got Valencia and then I think that's it. Until February, but as I said, Jose Mourinho said he wants the top 4 by January. You know, we've got to get wins together in the Premier League as well. And, you know, at the moment, we are not doing this. So Mourinho was disappointed with the performance at the weekend as well. You know, we've got a lot of players, you know, coming to the end of the deals. So potentially for me, you know, the expectation levels Mourinho hasn't met. You know, basically considering his history, considering the history of this club. You know, basically we should be more of a contender than we are, and we should have another Premier League title on the board by now. But we haven't. Mourinho, I admit, is arrogant. He's now getting older. You know, do people think he's past his sell-by date now, Jose Mourinho? And I just don't think he's going to push us forward, as I said. You know, regardless of who Jose Mourinho gets in the club, I potentially don't think he's going to push us forward. Potentially, it's just regardless of who gets in, because you change the whole identity, the style of players change. You know, a lot of money's been spent since Ferguson's retired, and you know we've seen players come in, you know we've seen players go, and we know it hasn't really worked out. I'm afraid. So you know, potentially for me, you know, people have different opinions. But for me, you know, this season, you know, we have to finish in the top 4 at least and get Champions League for next season for basically Mourinho to keep his job at Manchester United. For me, top 4 good enough this season for us. My opinion, no, top 4 is not good enough, you know, considering the amount of money we've spent and, you know, Jose Mourinho's history and all that. It isn't good enough, and this is his 3rd season, not his 1st season now. Where it's like his 1st season where he's getting used to the new era, the team and all that, and you know, people have questioned about his team selections, but I've credited him a couple of times. Jose Mourinho, he has started Fred tonight, which is good to see. For me, he should have started Fred against Palace, or at least brought him on against Manchester City, but he didn't. You know, he did pay £50 million for him, so he should be getting the game time. Marion Fellaini, who had a good game against Man City, you know, he came on at the weekend as well against Palace. Luke Shaw's back now. Good to see Valencia back in to start. Good. I want. It's be interesting to see how he performs tonight. And we know defensively we are terrible. We're not scoring enough goals this season. I think you know last season wasn't as bad as this season. I know we finished 19 points behind City, but obviously last season we scored more goals. We kept more clean sheets last season, as I said. And the 1st season, you know, players that area that Mourinho got were performing. You know, Lukaku were performing well in his 1st season. He was scoring goals. as I said, Lindelof, struggled, especially in his first season at the club when he first came to the club. But I think this season, to be fair to Lindelof, he has improved. Potentially for me, I think Darmian will go. He's not getting enough game time, even though he did play against Crystal Palace. But, he's not guaranteed to be a regular star, as I said, Darmian, because obviously Luke Shaw's playing at that left back. As I said, and he mainly plays at the right back, Ashley Young. Mainly, or now he's putting Antonio Valencia there for tonight, as I said. So yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I'm going to try and stream it, see if I can do it right now, guys, and I will let you know. But I will watch the highlights of the game if I can't get it streamed up, and we will be doing a match review later on in the game as well, as we always do. Drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you do consider, and hopefully I want Lukaku to get back in form. Mourinho said quite a few weeks ago he was confident that the goals will come from him again. Potentially we are lacking in attackively. We've got Rashford, who hasn't been to his potential best this season. He's still a very, very good young age player. As I said, he's basically said he's starting tonight. He said he wants to consider. He would consider making the move to Real Madrid. If he doesn't potentially get first team football at United. And a young player like Rashford does want guaranteed first team football. Most games, because he is only young. He still needs to grow and develop. Like Martial. Martial's ahead of him. This season. But we've heard the rumours about Real Madrid potentially linked to Rashford. Real Madrid are known, for buying Premier League players. They've bought 23 players, since 2000. They bought quite a few off United. Rashford, I hope he stays. Man United may be willing to double his salary to fend off the interest in Real Madrid. And Rashford's playing centrally today, so potentially, obviously Martial and Rashford mainly. Martial plays central or Rashford plays central mainly when Lukaku isn't playing or when Lukaku's currently on the bench, as I said, because he potentially hasn't been in great form. But Rashford, he's been Manchester United player since he was 7. He's using up the youth system fantastically well. He's only 21 years of age. His finishing still needs to improve. He's made more appearances than any United player in the last couple of seasons, Marcus Rashford, to be quite fair. He's got a good pedigree scoring on his debut as well. Good for England. But potentially, I hope Marcus Rashford stays at the club, because I really, really do like him, and it would be bad if we did lose out to him to Real Madrid. But as I said, guys, there has been rumours about that. It also said potentially Juventus were interested in Rashford as well. So potentially, there's a lot of news and transfer rumours that have been going on, because we know now it's not long until obviously the transfer window opens. It opens in January. Is it 4? Is it 3? Is it what day is it today? It's about 4 weeks, just over 4 weeks, something like that now, till the transfer window opens. It'd be interesting to see who, basically, we can get in. But I said, regardless, I just have no faith that Mourinho can elevate us and make us, the team that we were under Alex Ferguson. We were very, very competitive. We were winning major honours, and I just don't think, we're going to do this under Mourinho. And we win tonight. I won't be coming out here saying, oh yeah, Jose Mourinho's really, really good, blah blah blah. Like, so you saw some United fans do it after the Juventus game. I praised him. I was very happy with the result, because we beat a very, very good side. But you can't just get your hopes up after one game, as I said, and the performances are just not good enough. And we need to get the results. The performances need to step up, and certain players need to step up. And we're lacking in the final third. We're defensively bad. I think the right hand side still needs addressing, and hopefully tonight we can get the win. And we've got to try and go on a winning streak if we have any chance of getting in the top 4. We know we're not going to win the league. We're quite a few years off the league. We all know that. We're quite a few years off the league. But we'll see what happens tonight. So anyway, drop your comments, like, as I said, and take it easy, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and see you later. God bless. Bye. Back later with a match reaction.